Welcome into today's show, Saints fans. I'm your host, Trace Gerard. Before we get started for our mailbag and taking your questions and talking about Frank Clark, I need you to do me one quick favor. I'm going to make a deal with you guys. I'm going to make you guys, and I'm going to continue to put out some great content. In return, I need you to do something for free for me. Hit that thumbs up icon to like today's video. Let's go. Let's have some fun, and let's talk Frank Clark to New Orleans. Because Bleacher Report, they just put out an article suggesting that the Saints should sign defensive end Frank Clark before training camp. And as for what Bleacher Report had to say in their article and about the New Orleans Saints, they said while Foskey could make an impact in his rookie season, the Saints should add an established veteran to line up opposite of Cameron Jordan, who's going into his age 34 term. At 29 years old, Frank Clark is on the back end of his prime years, but he could help a pass rush and make plays in the backfield. I like the idea of bringing in Frank Clark. And just for some chat stats for you, we're bringing back this segment because I personally like it. I think it's kind of fun, and I know you guys enjoyed it too. So for the chat stats in today's segment, the Saints had the fourth lowest pressure rate last season. That's embarrassing. That's bad. It's just a 17.5% pressure rate. That's terrible. However, you know what's not terrible? It's Frank Clark. Frank Clark, he's a good player. He doesn't play that wonderfully in the regular season. I'll give you that. But during the postseason, he lights it up. And in terms of his regular season numbers, 39 tackles, 8 tackles for a loss, 56 pressures, 5 sacks. I want to just re-hit this pressures number. It's 56. The Saints were the fourth worst in the NFL. The Saints will not be the fourth worst if you bring in Frank Clark. And here's even more chat stats because I'm just addicted to this part of the video. Frank Clark has 93 sack yards in the playoffs with the Chiefs from 2019 to 2022. So his sacks alone almost backed up an entire football field, or it backed up the opposing offense, an entire football field, which is insane. In the AFC, the Chiefs, they play good teams. They play the Bills. They play the Bengals. They play whatever other teams that they play in the postseason. I know they always have the 1 seed, so they never have to really play in wild card weekend, but play a lot of good teams. So I think it's interesting. I think it would be a really good idea to bring in Frank Clark, and I really agree with Bleacher Report. And honestly, I would rather go get a guy like Frank Clark than Yannick Ngakoue, purely because I like the postseason boost that he provides. And I think that the Saints are in a position to find themselves in the postseason again. So just for the experience and just for not just for that, but that's a big reason why I think the Saints should go and get a guy like Frank Clark. So guys, if and when a move happens with Frank Clark, if and when anything happens around the New Orleans Saints, if there's news, there's updates, there's any juicy rumors, any juicy reports, anything fun that's worth talking about, we're going to be right here covering it for you guys. So lock us in, subscribe today, hit that big red sub button, and don't forget to hit that noti bell because otherwise, how are you going to know when we post a video? You won't get a notification. So hit that sub button, turn on the notification bell, and lock us in for Saints content every single day. All right. So let's take some of your questions. This is one of my favorite things we do here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. We take super chats. We take questions from our live audience, which we are live every other Wednesday. So we will be live not this upcoming Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. We're also going to be doing a giveaway raffle, so be sure to tune in and subscribe for that. Benico Canada, he says, #Saints, will you talk about the cornerback depth? Absolutely, my friend. And because my main man, producer Tex, is just such a damn good producer, he has the depth chart right here for you. So, Marshawn Lattimore, he's obviously your CB1. Paulson Adebo, he's battling with Alontae Taylor for CB2. Bradley Roby right now is your starting nickel guy. Alontae Taylor was taking snaps, actually, in the nickel at Saints OTAs earlier in the second session. So, I think that this is an interesting move that could potentially happen for Alontae Taylor because maybe he moves to the box. I know that Alontae Taylor has said he's more of an outside guy. I believe that he's more of an outside guy. However, he's aggressive, he's scrappy, and he's a guy that maybe in a pinch could fill in for the nickel. But I think that overall, the depth chart is fine. You got guys like Ugo Amadi, who's repping number 0, which is kind of cool. You have Marshawn Lattimore. You have Isaac Yiadom. You have a lot of quality players in this depth chart. not to mention a great defense around him. So I think that this cornerback depth is fine. I wouldn't do too much more to add to it or take anything away, to be honest. All right, next one in from Mikey Taylor. How many interceptions will Alontae Taylor have this year? So we're just talking Alontae. Let's talk some more Alontae. I love Alontae Taylor. Why not? Remember when everyone was saying he was a bad draft pick? That was hilarious. That was so funny. Everyone's an idiot except for Saints fans. All right. I think Alontae Taylor, I'm going to set the over-under at 3.5. And I think that he gets the over. I think he gets 4 interceptions this year. I think that he had a lot of opportunities to get interceptions. He had a lot of very close calls to get interceptions last year. Didn't happen a lot. So obviously, you want him to have better numbers there. But I think that Alontae Taylor will definitely take steps. I think he'll definitely have a breakout season this year, and I think that he'll be a phenomenal player. I'm saying 4 interceptions. But guys, in the comment section, let me know how many interceptions you think Alontae Taylor will have as well. All right. From Nola Livin. I like that helmet, man. Oh, dude, I love the throwback uniforms. They're so cool. All right. Should the Saints, or hashtag Saints, should sign Ndamukong? I mean, I guess. He's not that good, though. He's just not. And, again, the numbers, maybe they're a little bit skewed because with the Eagles last season, they had the best defensive line in the NFL, and it's not even up for a debate. It's not a question. They just simply did. Had more sacks than any other team by like 10. And Ndamukong just didn't get a ton of looks there. He didn't get a ton of time contributing. But, like, he's still a guy that you have to account for on the defensive line. He's a little bit older, and not a little bit. He is old. I remember as a kid being like, I wonder if any day in my life I'll be able to spell out Ndamukong just anytime I want. I can say I can do that now, and 5-year-old me would be really proud. But I don't know, man. I don't really think Ndamukong makes too much sense. I personally wouldn't. I'd rather go and get a guy, if you wanted to go sign a veteran DT, go get Unique Ngakoue. He's just got he has a lot more left in the tank, and he has a lot more juice to offer to the Saints defense. But I want to hear from you guys. Be honest. Shout out producer Tex again for having it going for us. Would you sign Ndamukong? Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know. Don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into the next question. All right. David Rose, $10 super chat. Where do you see the greatest improvement with the Saints this year, and have we done enough to make it a winning season? I'm going to answer the second part first. Yes, the Saints have done enough to have a winning season. I think that I may be wrong here. I'm fully prepared to be on Old Takes Exposed. I'm fully prepared. But just based on the Saints' schedule, just alone on the schedule, you should have at least 6 wins. Schedule's bad. It's a very easy schedule. You should have at least 6 wins no matter what. I think that I set my wins. I predicted that the Saints are going to have anywhere from 11 to 12. I think 10 to 12 is kind of the threshold of where you might be in. But I think that the Saints are going to have a winning record. And the greatest improvement, I'm going to say the quarterback. It's a cop-out. I'll say the quarterbacks and running backs. The defense is still good. The defensive line lost a lot of players, let's be fair. But I think that the Saints' quarterback room is way better than it was last year. Keep in mind it was Jameis Winston, Andy Dalton, and Jake Luton. And now it's Derek Carr, J-Bo, Jake Haener. Significantly better. Running backs, you go from Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Eno Benjamin, David Johnson, and all the free agents that they signed to kind of rotate through. Now you go to Alvin Kamara, has a suspension looming. Obviously, you're not going to have him all season. To Jamal Williams, who led the NFL in rushing touchdowns, and Kendre Miller, who also had 17 touchdowns at TCU last year, 3rd-round pick. Going to be a great player once he's healthy. So I think that the offensive side added a lot of juice to it. Quarterback and running back are my 2 biggest improvements. All right, Romel, the legend, Romel Duran says, do you think that we could trade Jameis for Hunter Renfrow? I like this question. So I've actually seen a lot of buzz, a lot of reports about this. So the things that I've seen, it's Jameis Winston and a pick for Hunter Renfrow, because right now Jimmy Garoppolo may not actually be quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, despite them, making a free agency splash and getting him because they couldn't hold on to Derek Carr. I think that Jameis Winston, I mean, if you're the Raiders and you're desperate, like, why not? Like, it makes sense. They need a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo failed his physical. Like, it makes sense. Hunter Renfrow has really good chemistry with Derek Carr, so I think that it might be an interesting one to hit. I think you'd have to include a pick in there just to kind of even out the value because it is a backup quarterback who will be a starting quarterback theoretically for the Raiders, but Hunter Renfrow is still one of the better parts of that offense. I would love to get Hunter Renfrow, and I think it'd be a lot of cool. It would be really cool to see that. I think it'd be a lot of first downs if that was the case between him and Juwan Johnson and Foster Moreau. All right, subscribe for these 5 things. Daily Saints coverage. We were putting out videos almost every single day. If we get more subs, I promise you I will put out videos every single day and I will not miss a single day. If you want more team news, updates, rumors, whether it's free agency, trade, injury stuff, also Alvin Kamara's legal situation, we're going to have you covered. It's also informative and entertaining content. Subscribe for entertaining and informative content because not only do we want to talk ball and want to give you guys something that's going to help you learn the game of football, help you learn about the Saints, but it's also going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have a few laughs. We're going to share a few beers. We're going to have a good time. But we also have live shows. This mailbag was filmed as a part of the live show, and we also give you free videos about your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. So lock us in, subscribe today, join our squad, join the Golden Gang, hit that big red sub button, and turn on your notifications. Jerry Tolley, real quick, this one's for you. Raider Nation, what's going on? Real ones know. Real ones know about Mitchell Renz because, Jerry's a Raiders fan. Mitch is the Raiders guy here at Chat Sports. Cry about it. I don't know what to tell you. What is your DC4 stat prediction for 2023? So I think Derek Carr will... dude. I don't want to get too excited and I don't want to sound like an idiot. I think more than 25 touchdowns. I think 28 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I'm going to say around 3,000 yards. Dude, that's a lot. I'm going to say anywhere from about 2,500 to 3,000 yards. And I think the Saints win 11 games. There you go. I think Derek Carr has one of his better seasons he's had in his NFL career with New Orleans. I think he revives his career. I think he shows he proves a lot of people wrong, and I think he shows a lot of interesting things as long as he stays healthy. That's the biggest thing, which he hasn't had a problem with. All right, last question coming in today. If you could choose between signing D-Hop or Frank Clark, who would you take? Don't do this to me, man. Don't do this to me. Because I'm one greedy SOB, and I just want all the wide receivers. I really want D-Hop, man. I don't think it makes sense, though. I really don't. Because you could sign Frank Clark, have money left over to address in free agency, and worst comes to worst later in the season. Or if you want to make a trade at the deadline, you can still pay that player. If you go and sign D-Hop, you're pretty much maxing out your cap space for the season. It would be fun to have D-Hop, though, alongside Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson. I mean, it would just be awesome. I'm going to say Frank Clark, though, because I think it's a better fit, and I think it makes more sense for the Saints. But you guys let me know. Would you take D-Hop or Frank Clark? Just let me know. Pick out of the two, because I'm curious what you guys have to say. I'm going to be definitely looking to see what y'all have to say. And before you get out of here, after you let me know who would take between D-Hop and Frank Clark, I need you to predict the Saints record for me this season. I'm going with 11 wins. Bear in mind, 17-game season, 18 weeks, but 17-game season. I'm going 11-6. That's what I've said since our schedule has been released. I want to hear from you, though. Who Dat Nation, I hope you enjoyed today's content. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Y'all stay golden. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And we'll see you next time. Stay golden. All right, one more question coming in from Courtney, the legend here at Saints Now by Chat Sports. She says D-Hop or Renfrow. I heard Adams also wants out. Then D-Hop or Adams. So I'm going to go with, I know I said I want Frank Clark over D-Hop. I feel like I can't pass up D-Hop twice, though. I'm going to say Hunter Renfrow, because yes, it's a trade, but he's cheaper. He already has the chemistry and he has that connection with Derek Carr. But in terms of Davante Adams, D-Hop, I'm taking Davante Adams. Taking Davante Adams. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not even blinking an eye, and I'm not even going to question it. And man, I'm showing a lot of hate to D-Hop, but I would love him. It's just like Hunter Renfrow, it makes too much sense. I don't know. But Courtney, I appreciate you asking that question, and I thank you for the $10 donation.